These Tories, they have sympathy for ordinary folk. They care about you. Or at least that's what they try to tell us. Yet, they're taking everything away from us. Yet they're allowing us to swim in poop. They're allowing us to drink toxic water. Cryptosporidium, a parasite. That gives you the, yes, the trots. Never trust a fart. Well, I wonder. I really do wonder sometimes. Because I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Now, I live in France. I'm not too worried. But every day is a struggle these days, and it's getting worse, you know. Waking up with pains and stiffness and getting out of bed like you just got off a horse that you've been riding for 8 hours. It's not comfortable, and it's likely to get worse. And some days I just have horrendous brain fog. I just can't think straight, just can't get my act together. Struggle with things. That's why I haven't been uploading so many videos, you see. Although I put on the foods this week. I find it a little bit hard, you know. It's emotionally hard anyway, dealing with, you know, UK politics. It's just enough to drive you absolutely insane. With all the crap that is going on at the moment, literally, in the physical sense as well. So I wonder if, I was in a situation where I needed PIPs payments, for instance, which my son gets because he's got a condition called dystonia, and he's very disabled. Obviously disabled. You can see that he's disabled. Although he can walk a few steps and what have you. Luckily, he doesn't have to have assessments anymore, but when he was having the assessment, it was embarrassing. It was dehumanising. I wonder if I get to that stage at some point. And I see people in these fibromyalgia groups and stuff like that, and, that's progressively got worse for them. Or they have to go to extreme measures to manage it, then slip up, but then, because you have flare-ups, you see, with fibro. You might be right one day, and the next day you're absolutely terrible. Yeah, boy, come and say that. Come on, come and say. Oh, yeah, it's my Wally. Well, let's say, for instance, I did want to. Oh, okay, that's helpful. Let's say, for instance, I don't know, I couldn't get PIP's payment straight away here in France, or the version of, and I had to go for something else, such as job seekers or something like that, unemployment benefit here in France. We'd be right actually on that if I had to. Don't want to, and I don't plan to, and won't be anytime soon because I am a working class geezer, and I just like. I hate handouts, you see. Even if I'm looking for something, if I was in between jobs or something like that, I've been self-employed such a long time. But even if I was in between jobs, I'd be doing something. I really would. So I wouldn't be able to get it anyway. But how do people in the UK on, say, for example, unemployment benefit manage? On, if you're over 25, I think it is, you get around £90 odd a week. How do you manage on that? 90 quid a week when we're in a cost of living crisis. If you're under 25, right? Because the assumption is if you're under 25, your parents should be looking after you. What if you ain't got no parents? What if you're, an orphan even? If you're under 25, you can only get up to £71 a week. No one can survive on 71 quid a week in the UK. And that's, okay, you say, well, what about housing benefit and stuff like that? That's if you can get a house. We've got dwindling stock. We've got a situation in the UK where more and more people are ending up on the streets. And then you've got Richie Sunak going on about eradicating homelessness, rough sleeping. And how are they going to do that? They're going to legislate it to make it illegal. To be down on luck, basically. And they tell us they've got sympathy, Tory sympathy, Whenever they're asked a question, all they do, they say things like, I don't know, we've spent so many millions on this and so many billions on that, as though it's some kind of flag to wave about. It's their job. And besides, it's not their money they're spending. It's your money, taxpayers' money. Or borrowed money, which you're going to be paying for as well. At high interest rates. Well, in France, all right, this is just chalk and cheese. Oh, you cold, my boy? You're shaking. If, for instance, you're unemployed in France, okay, it's worked out on your previous 12 months of employment or self-employed work or whatever. You know, oh, you're already shivering, you are, boy. But you can get up to £90. That's €90, sorry, a day. That's chalk and cheese. It really is. It could be from €750 to €1,500 a month. Compare that to 90 tops a week. And in France, you still get your housing benefits and stuff like that. And the property here is much cheaper to rent. You can get a 3-bedroomed house here to rent for under €500 a month. Quite easily. Obviously, in Paris and places like that, it's going to be a lot more expensive, obviously. But in this area of France, for instance, dead cheap. In fact, I know one that is rented out, literally just over there in the hamlet. And that's only €350 a month. Our friend Violet pays €250 a month for her little one-bedroom house. So it's manageable, anyway. Unlike in the UK, yeah, people got rents around £1,000 a month at least. In some cases, more. Landlords keep pushing the rents up. I do have a little bit of sympathy for landlords. Not all of them, obviously. But some landlords, such as my sister, for instance, who basically felt, well, I've got a little bit of money, wanted to put it towards, when my dad died, she put it towards buying a house to rent out, a buy-to-let. And she had a mortgage as well, it wasn't just outright. Who was it? That would be our pension. So many people do that. Yet she's demonised for doing it. Everyone seems to think that, if you've got 2 properties and you're renting one out, it's just like you're evil. I don't get that. I'm not in that league, sorry. No. Don't be wrong, you've got some shitty landlords. Really shitty landlords. But you see, when you hear people talk about all this stuff and about the lack of money, the GDP that hasn't really grown, keep on about the largest growth. Yeah, they always pick the word. They don't say the EU. They always pick the countries that have actually had a downturn, such as Germany and places like that. They don't need kisses, right? Not yet, right? Don't they? They cherry pick. They cherry pick the economies that are finding it hard. France, for instance, is doing pretty well. Most of the EU is actually on a 0.3% increase in gross domestic product. It's gone up. More income. Per head has increased as well. But they cherry pick to make out the UK has grown as far faster than a country that's actually been stuck. Germany has been struggling with their economy for various reasons, partially because of Russia and the fact that energy costs and stuff, and changing where they're getting the fuel from. Coming on to that regarding, it's quite easy to blame everything on the war in Ukraine. I think Germany has a good case there. But in the UK, you see, we've pushed back against European imports because of Brexit, made it harder. So everything's become more expensive. Yet they're trying to blame the war in Ukraine for the fact that everything is more expensive, which it is more expensive, and that does play a part. But we're importing more from further afield now anyway, because of Brexit. They'll go on, wouldn't they? Oh, we've got somehow paid back the $400 billion we spent on COVID. What amount of money you handed over to your family, Richie Sunak? Such as your missus, giving her your missus COVID loans. For Christ's sake. These people don't care about you. They really don't. All they're interested in is actually feathering their own nests. We've got Tory MP after Tory MP, all right, all peer, that quite frankly just ends up, well, in the front pages of the press, if you know, or maybe in the front pages of the press for sex offences. We've got another one, Lord Ranger. He's just been, how to put it? He's lost his whip and what have you, or given up his whip for bullying, drunken behaviour in Parliament. Well, you got allowances of 350 quid a day, so of course they can spend it, aren't they? Get rat-assed. Taxpayers' money, get them drunk. Ken Clark, he always looked wasted, if you ask me. I think he's a whiskey man, that one. Although I quite like Ken Clark, as far as Tories are concerned. He's one of the better ones. Then you've got Nicholas Soames and people like that. They all got pushed out by Boris Johnson. All the good ones went. And I know what we got. We've got the 2019 intake. We've got that Andrea Jenkins, who's crikey, who got a little, peerage and all that. What the hell? She stood there giving the press the bird. Gave him the finger. She did. And now and these people represent us. How does that look, eh? It makes us look like a shower of shit. It really does. Peter Bone took out his knackers and chucked it on somebody else's head. Lost his job. So he gave it to his girlfriend. Literally. What the hell? Chris Pincher, the pincher. What? God, these people, they are foul individuals. They have a few drinks in them and they think they're God's gift. Actually, generally, to other men, actually. Can't do that, like Chris Pincher. And then you got the guy, the tractor porn guy. Can't remember his name now. Got caught watching porn flipping in the Commons. On more than one occasion. For Christ's sake, these people. And we're supposed to say, shrug your shoulders. Well, it's just what happens, isn't it? No. It's not acceptable. You and I do anything like this, well, then we end up in jail. And now all they want to do is watch your flipping bank accounts to see whether or not you've got more money than what you say you have. You can't even go to the flipping supermarkets these days and actually see an actual person employed pushing your goods past the till. Huh? What the hell's happening in the UK? Okay, we have, the sort of electronic checkouts here in the UK, in France as well, but not to that degree. Not yet, anyway. And now they want to get rid of your cash. You can have no freedom. It's called entrapment. And I'll tell you what it will do. In the case of a war, everything will fall flat on its face. All this digital shit that we're highly reliant on just to pay our bills or buy our food will fall flat on its face. And then how are you going to pay for shit if they get rid of cash? We're going to have IOUs? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's illogical. We are in pretty fragile times, we are. With everything kicking off in Russia and what have you. And what's going on regarding Ukraine and Russia? Really, we need to step in. That's my feeling. You've got to show people who's boss. Quite often, when you do that, they end up being your allies. Look at the Second World War, for instance. Germany. I can remember getting into scuffles at school and what have you. Bullies. And then they ended up being mates because, you stood up to them. If you don't stand up to bullies, the bullies will get stronger. There's no choice. And whatever the outcome, you have to do it. You can't just be meager about it. No. You have to stand up to bullies. It's not as though we haven't got a big stick, is it? I don't know. I just think everything is just going to absolute pot. And it's always the ordinary folk, right, who are the ones who suffer. It'll be those who end up fighting, not for the country, no, they'll end up fighting for the rich sods who probably won't be fighting. They'll find a way out of it. We become their cannon fodder for a start. You have to ask yourself, are you fighting, if you end up, on the front line, would you be fighting for your country, or would you be fighting for those who pretty much own the country, those who have been sucking all the wealth out of the country? Who you be fighting for? Ask yourself that one. I know it's a bit of a rant, but I'm just sick and tired of it all. I've been following this closely for the last few years now, since I've been doing this channel, really, and it's like, where does this end? It's not getting better, is it? It's getting worse. I know everybody's hoping for a Labour government, but they ain't going to sort this out. Not because I don't want to, because they really do not have the power or the means to do it. Unless you change how people are, you're not going to change the country. Because that's what the country is. The country really is a population. It's not just a landmass. It's a population of values. And if your values has gone all skew-if, to the right, hard right, you believe in people like Nigel Farage and those sort of assholes, sorry, because they are, when there's no hope for the country. So what are you fighting for? You have to ask yourself, would you give blood for Nigel Farage? Would you give blood for, I don't know, the Draxes? Huh? Richard Drax. And all those ilk. Those who've damaged the country just so they can feather their own nest. You tell me. Please leave it in the comments down below. I'm sorry it was a bit of a rant, but I just had to get it out of my system. Anyway, I was going to say, do please click the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. And a little bell icon, so you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. What should we do today, Wally? Do I go for a walk later? Thank you. Yeah, lovely kisses. You've been licking bums. I bet you haven't you? He's 14 now, he is. Or was he 15? He's 14. He's 14. Got the vet next week, haven't you? Lovely. Got his jabs. We're contemplating not giving to him this now, though. We're wondering. Don't know. He's getting old now, you see. So I don't know if it'll do more harm than good because he has fits. Anyway, you have a lovely day, wouldn't you? But besides, oh yeah, don't forget we go live every Sunday 8:30 PM UK time. Toodaloo.